have such experience. When we concentrate on doing something, suddenly there is a huge noise. We are scared and feel the heartbeat stop. Why do we have the feeling of cardiac arrest? With this question, we will learn myocardial excitability. Excitability is the responding ability to stimuli. Myocardium has excitability. As we learned before, the measure of excitability is threshold, the minimum intensity of stimulus, which can cause response. The higher the threshold, the lower the excitability. Two factors affect it. The first is the distance between resting potential and threshold potential. The farther the distance, the smaller the excitability. The second factor is the state of channels. Both sodium channels and calcium channels have three states: resting state, activated, and inactivated. The channel in resting state is closed, but can be activated once the membrane depolarizes to the threshold potential. When the channels are activated, ions can flow through it. Then they will be inactivated quickly and closed. Only revived to the resting state, the channel can be opened again. The state transition always goes like this. We've learned that the excitability is not static. After being stimulated, the excitability should undergo a periodic change. Look at this picture. The x-axis is time. The y-axis is the transmembrane potential. The pink curve below shows the change of excitability. The black curve above is an action potential, and the pink curve is myocardial contraction and relaxation caused by the action potential. During the period from depolarization to repolarization to negative 55 millivolts, sodium channels can't be opened by any stimulus due to its rapid inactivation after opening. This period is called absolute refractory period. During repolarization from negative 55 millivolts to negative 60, the excitability increases a little, because a little sodium channels begin to revive. Local response can be produced by stimulus. We call it local response period. In the absolute refractory period and the local response period, action potential can't be produced. So these two periods are called effective refractory period. During repolarization from negative 60 millivolts to negative 80, a large number of sodium channels have revived. The excitability has gradually recovered, but is still lower than normal. Action potential can be produced by suprathreshold stimulus. So we called it relative refractory period. During repolarization from negative 80 to negative 90 millivolts, all of sodium channels are ready to open. Because the membrane potential is closer to the threshold potential, the excitability is higher than normal. Subthreshold stimulus can trigger action potential, so we called it supranormal period. The most important characteristic of myocardial excitability is that the effective refractory period is very long, about 200 to 300 milliseconds, including the whole systole and the early part of diastole. In this period, myocardium don't respond to any stimulus. It's only after the early part of diastole can respond to stimulus. This ensures the heart not generate tentative contraction and always keep the alternating contraction and relaxation. To realize the pumping function, look at this graph. The heart beats rhythmically under the guidance of SA note. The blue arrow represents the sinus rhythm. The black curve represents the contraction and relaxation caused by the sinus rhythm. We give the heart additional stimulus. Stimulus A, B, and C are in systole, which in the effective refractory period can't cause cardiac contraction. Stimulus D is after the early part of diastole, that is, after the effective refractory period, can produce an additional excitation and contraction in advance, which is called premature contraction. The premature contraction has its own refractory period. The next action potential from SA node falls into it and loses, leads to a long relaxation, which is called compensatory pause. Therefore, we feel cardiac arrest for one time. Occasionally, premature contractions are normal, but frequent premature contraction need treatment. Let's do a summary. The excitability of myocardium is affected by two factors. The first is the distance between resting potential and threshold potential. The second is the state of ion channels. The most characteristic of myocardial excitability is that the effective refractory period is very long, including systole and the early part of diastole. Therefore, there is no tentative contraction. The heart always keeps the alternating contraction and relaxation. Class is over. Thank you. See you.